into the new year, it becomes imperative to find, and also, excuse me, as we move into the election year, it becomes imperative for us to find ways to engage young people and to engage individuals to participate in politics, participate in government, not only participate but to vote, which is indeed the imperative. And one issue that I like to talk about for us is, what do you see as some of the barriers that young people face when it comes to voting and civic participation, such as registration, motivation, and access? The barriers that may exist in terms of voting.
Right. I think that's a great question. I mean, being a young adult, I was fortunate enough to have a not only a great education, but a great village around me that made sure that I was aware of the importance of voting and how it's done. Even to this day, when we had to vote in the last election, my uncle was making sure, hey, do you have your mail in valid? This is the deadline. Not everybody has that. Not everybody has the support system to make sure that they understand and to stay on them about the mail in ballots when you're in college so that your vote actually matters and it counts. Not everybody, starting from being a little kid in the education system, not everybody is afforded the great education, even if they are in the school system, to be able to understand the importance of the voting, the importance of the history of voting. We didn't always have this ability to do this. And so now that we have it, we need to stay on it and make sure that our votes are counting and mattering in every election possible.
I like the fact that you said it's imperative that we understand the nature and the history of voting, and I say that because once individuals understand that there were real barriers to voting, and the civil rights movement existed for a reason
Right.
to bring individuals into the fold. And I know that you're not a native of Louisiana; you're actually from Dallas, Texas,
Yes, sir.
and that community. And I know you see there's a difference in terms of the culture. Do you see many barriers or the young people in that state as opposed to what you have here in the state of Louisiana? Do you see some similarities in terms of individuals wanting to go to the polls and participate and vote? Yes.
Yes, I think that there are many similarities. One thing that really stands out to me, and especially it being my last year, freshman year in college, Dillard University held a protest. We held the March to the Polls, not necessarily protest, sorry, misspoke, but it was a March to the Polls to make sure that individuals were registered to vote, that when the time came, everybody had transportation. The university provided transportation if you needed it, or they made sure that you had it so that you could vote if you were registered to vote in Louisiana. And I think that is the major event that spoke out to me and that stands out to me. And I'm sure in Texas, I know there are many universities that are doing similar things because, I mean, across the board, young adults understand that it's now or never. Like, if you don't stand up for what matters now, for your rights now, then who knows? I mean, and everybody's seeing what's happening in the news. There is no other explanation.
I like the fact that you mentioned transportation to bring individuals to the polls.
Right.
In some universities, in some places, you have the polling places are located actually on the campus.
True.
Man, I would think it would be good to bring. At one time, the polling place was located because you're a student at the university, and at Dillard University, and it'd be good to bring back polling to the campus.
I believe
Yeah.
so. I think not only is that beneficial for the students on campus, but also for the individuals that live around campus who the campus may be a closer distance to walk to bus to drive to than other polling places. So I feel like that would definitely bring advantages to individuals outside of the college community.
Yeah, and that indeed becomes an imperative. And within this as well, we have to look at some of the strategies that exist to engage students and young voters. And strategies are very, very important. I would think that when you look at strategies, you think about rallies,
Hmm.
certain type of voting education rallies. And do you think that can be effective?
I think so.
Yeah.
I definitely believe that rallies, they've been effective. We've seen, like we talked about previously in
Yes.
history, rallies, the coming together of individuals that are like minded has been successful. And I think in today's time, it's really imperative that we use social media to our advantage. We use social media to get the word out so that we can expand the amount of people who know about these rallies so that we can get more numbers to be able to be seen Because yes, you may have a rally about something that's really important, but if there are no people there to support you, you're not going to get the media coverage. You're not going to be able to get what you need because nobody knows about
What brings individuals to the rally? Yeah, we know food. Yes, food and music. What
Yes.
what what would bring young people to a nice voting education rally?
I definitely think it starts with the cause. It starts with the
Oh,
problem.
yes.
As long as your problem and your cause resonates with those students, they're going to come out and they're going to speak up for themselves because at the end of the day, they understand, hey, I'm being mistreated and I don't like this. I need to figure out how to fix it. You have a great cause. Of course, you spoke about music and food. Everybody loves to eat and to dance. That's something that you do after you have your speaker speak and you have gathered everybody. Everybody's like minded. They're on the same page. Okay, where's the food? Like, that's just a benefit of having that event.
Yeah, but it has to be the right cause.
It does.
I
It
know
does.
and you say a cause one that the youth can identify with, like for college age kids, uh, lower tuition, or
Right.
for individuals who talk about grants and that sort of thing. That becomes highly important.
It does.
If you have a candidate that's talking about that or an issue that may be speaking about that, can it be a non-generic cause? Is it a cause that necessarily that may not necessarily be directly related to students? It could be one on, I don't know, housing, infrastructure,
Yes.
highways.
I
Yes.
think those causes are definitely important too. And I think the way that you connect with younger individuals on those causes is make them see, make them realize how this connects to them in the future. And right now, housing down the street may not be important to me because I live on
Yeah,
campus.
yeah.
But hey, in 5 years, I'm going to need a place to stay. I'm going to want it to be affordable. I don't want to have to deal with rats, roaches, bugs. I don't want to deal with that. I want a nice house that I can live in and be comfortable in. And although, especially as individuals, young individuals, we may not be thinking big picture, but as adults, older adults who understand, hey, they're not thinking about this right now, coming to us and relating it to what we know we're going to need in the future, it helps. And that'll bring in the numbers that you would need in those rallies based on those
What have been some
events.
causes that you have identified with over the years that really have you that really you say, you know what, I care about this,
Right.
that this is important to me,
Right.
that may not resonate with anyone else, but that you specifically resonates with you.
Of course. From being my professor, I am big on gerrymandering and congressional districts. I love to research those events. Being from Dallas, Texas, the events going on with Jasmine Crockett and the potential redistricting of her district was really controversial. I did a lot of research on that. I think additionally, in today's time with ICE, that's something that I've been really looking into, paying attention to in the news and stuff. Also, being a college student at the university, rising tuition costs. There's a lot of controversy right now about the athletics department. Being a student athlete, that's something that my ears have been perked up. Every time I hear something, I'm like, okay, let's go back. Let's investigate this because if I won't investigate it, who will? I can't trust anybody else to give me the information that I need for my being.
I do understand that, and you know the beauty of it is, and we mentioned this earlier in the program. The fact is that you are one of our great students at Dillard University
Yes, sir.
in political science, and it's an area I think that's very very important. The study of politics, the study of politics itself, and I'm just glad that that you are involved in our program. But you are a scholar athlete, a student athlete.
Yes, sir, I am.
How does that work?
It,
How does that
it
work?
works.
Yes.
It's not always easy. It's some late nights, early mornings, but at the end of the day, I feel it's very worth it. I've been a student athlete since high school. As long as I can remember, I've always played sports and attended school. I think it's truly based on the person. As long as you have the grind, you have the grit to play your sport, you have that love for the game, then everything else will fall into place. You just got to work.
On a collegiate level, though, it becomes almost you don't get a chance to be involved in the community. You don't get a chance to be involved, but so much with on the campus, or do you? Because I know there's always books, practice, and when you're in season, it's an awful lot of travel.
This is true. So, being a volleyball player, our main season is fall. So during the fall, I don't necessarily participate in a lot of things. I remember freshman year, I did want to participate in SGA, but because of travel and like you
Right.
the things that you mentioned, it doesn't necessarily work out. So the spring is when I really try to get involved. We just had our org fair. I signed up for a new organization. I'm now a part of the environmental club. So I try to get in the mix of the university more in the spring because I know I don't do as much as I would like in the fall because of my sport.
Well, you had a good season this year, did you
We
not?
did back to back champions of the HBCUAC conference.
Oh my goodness,
Yes, we are.
yeah, it's hard to repeat, but
it
you repeated, and the tournament is held where?
in Bossier City
Okay, yeah.
in Shreveport, Louisiana.
So you learn a lot about Louisiana since you've been here.
I do actually. I've traveled quite a bit. I've been very diverse in the government system here in Louisiana. How the different citizens feel. Just being on your show in general and being able to express my feelings and get my mind going. Critical thinking skills always working.
That's true. Now let's get. I want to get back to some of the issues which are important to us. Uh, trust in government. Trust in government. How is it that you get young individuals to trust in government and to trust in the processes involved in government itself?
I think this is a very sticky situation,
Yeah.
especially being a young adult in today's time. Um, our first awakening into young adulthood was Roe v. Wade being overturned. What do you mean? I wake up. I'm 18. I wake up one day and I don't have control over my own body, and it's individuals who are men. You will never be able to experience what a woman does, but you're making decisions that affect millions of women across the world. And so I think when you talk about trust in the government and young adults in the same sentence, there's a lot of contradictions there because we may trust the original principles of our government, but are those original principles being upheld today? And that's not a true statement. And so that's where the disruption of trust comes in because what we were taught in school, what our government is supposed to look like, the checks and balances system, isn't is it's not being upheld. And as a young adult, it's disheartening, which is why I feel like, of course, that's why I'm in a political science major. That's why I do what I do. And that's why a lot of other individuals are starting to speak out and they're raising eyebrows. They're asking questions because it's needed, because we don't trust. And obviously, there's reason behind that. And as a black individual, as an African American individual, I know that my ancestors had questions too. They were raising their eyebrows. They were asking questions. They were unhappy with what was going on then. And they made a change and they made it happen. So
But you know what? In the midst of all that, there are certain elements that discourage individuals from participating.
there is. And
And I don't want to say barriers, but there are certain things that discourage individuals from participating in government. And part of it, I think, is that trust. What else do you see is not necessarily a barrier because we discussed that, but what discourages individuals from and young people from participating in government? Because I hear so many young people outside of the collegiate experience and those who are in the collegiate experience that say, "Oh, it's not going to change. Oh, it's not good, or whatever, or why."
right.
Yes.
I think history definitely repeats itself, and I think it also is based on the environment in which you were raised. Um, Based on what you grew up around depicts how you view your ability to make a difference in the world, right? And aside from that, it's it's based on education, how we all may have been in the education system, but based on your teacher, how your teacher interpreted what they were supposed to be teaching you and how they gave it to you depicts how you took it. And if I learned one thing one way and you learned it another way, of course we grew up thinking differently. I see a problem. Okay, that's a problem. I'm going to figure out how to fix it and I'm going to change it for the betterment, right? And not everybody has that outlook, sort of. And so when you talk about altering that, it comes from a sense of community, having friends that think differently and can change your way of thinking, can give you a new perspective, and together you make that change happen.
I like the fact that you talk about parcel to that political participation, socialization, should I say, is that how you were taught, how and people bringing you into the fold. What brought you into the fold as a young person?
Definitely my family. I know, and I spoke about this last
Yes, you
time,
sure did.
but in high school, I was dead set on going to the University of Oklahoma. I wanted to go there between University of Oklahoma and Baylor. I was going to one of them, right? And the events of George Floyd happened. And that was my woke moment. My eyes opened and I was like, "Oh my god. Like this is the world we live in. Like I'm scared." And not only that situation, but even early on in my childhood, my grandparents definitely made sure that we visited multiple museums. We were well aware of our history. Like I said, my uncle that helps me with the voting, he's definitely big into politics. He's been a big kind of role model in the politic world for me. And just my upbringing really contributed to my goals in life. And even now, when I tell people, "Oh, I want to work on campaigns, I want to do political consulting," I'm like, "Where'd you get that from?" Like, nobody in my family does anything with politics, but the way that I was raised to understand history, to understand the importance of history, even down to my granddad asking me a random history fact, and it's like, "Oh, you remember?" It's like, "Yeah, that's important." So it's just the way I was raised.
And so it's important, and I see the way that you were raised and that you're brought up. It's important. Everyone may not have that shared
Right.
experience,
Hmm.
and so it becomes a responsibility to try in some form or fashion to bring in individuals into the fold so they can know and understand why it is important to participate.
Right.
You see, do you know individuals who don't participate, who withdraw, who do not participate
I don't. And
by
I
choice?
I think it's because of the people I surround myself with. I don't necessarily surround
So in
myself.
your circle, they are participatory.
They are. And
Yes.
if we're not actually at the event, best believe we've had a conversation about it. It possibly was a heated conversation about it. I know I've had debates with my friends over the most randomest things ever when it comes to our world, but at the end of the day, we are very engaged and we know that there's a problem. We're aware of the problem that's at hand. And although we have different education backgrounds, I'm a poli sci major. I have friends that are business majors, marketing majors. I have a friend, again, teammates, that is a biology major. She wants to be a doctor one day. But when it comes to politics, we're all aware of what's going on, and we can sit down and have a conversation in the CAF about what's going on and oh, maybe they should do this, they shouldn't do this, and just it's a whole ordeal, and I love it every time it happens.
Yes. Now, critical political issues of the day. And we look at critical political issues. Now, for instance, we're looking now and we see how democracy is being challenged.
Right.
And it's being challenged on all fronts and in all arenas, in all sectors of government, in all sectors of our society. And we see now whereby those individuals in the Hispanic community, the Latin community, are being attacked.
Mhm.
And you see that there are high level of profiling
Right.
that exists. And the profiling that exists with them is the same similar profile that exists with black people. So you see the profiling of people of color. And I'd like to just get your perspective of the profiling and your perspective of what's taking place in the brown community, the Hispanic and Latin community. And how do you see the attack on this community?
It is disgusting. When I
Yes.
talked about the lack of checks and balances in our government system right now, it's directed at that because the fact that there are individuals who are scared to come out of their home. There are individuals who are scared to go to school, scared college students who are scared to go to class because they don't know if they will be taken out of class. They can't even get an education because of asinine thoughts. Like it's disgusting and I really don't have anything else to say, but it's the fact that it's disgusting.
Well, let me just say this: the same parallels existed
Mhm.
because the original, Black Americans were undocumented as enslaved people, and Black Americans were attacked, and Black Americans were attacked by with individuals coming at them with masks.
I would agree, yes.
And with wearing masks and pulling them out of homes and all these same parallels have exist. And so I want individuals to know that we live in a very dangerous place and
We
a
do.
dangerous world, and we've got to understand the nature of the American system and a DNA that is embedded within the American
This is
system,
true as
because
well.
DNA is
America.
something I always tell people all the time. The way you can run from a lot of things in the world, but you cannot run from DNA. And DNA does not exist not only in terms of DNA does not exist not only in the organic body of humans, but it exists in an organic body of organizations.
Right.
So you got to know the DNA of organizations and the DNA of countries. Now, what I like about your generation and the young generation, the generation Z. What I like about this generation is that they have the tools to talk to someone immediately
Hmm.
in different area codes. The tools to talk to someone on any different level instantly. And if you could just address the tools and how they could be used to increase uh, political participation and voter participation. I mean, tools such as TikTok, Instagram, and all these other social media platforms that exist.
Right. I think it's already being done. Social
Yes,
media is a big part
absolutely, yeah.
of getting the word out there, educating individuals who are uneducated, and individuals being able to speak their mind against certain organizations, certain people, because of the connectedness of social media. Social media allows you to at Obama right now and tell Obama, "Hey, I liked your tie the other day." Like that, like you said, that wasn't something that we had or that was available back then. And I think that there are individuals who are taking advantage of that and using that to our advantage to make things happen.
Well, you talk about political consulting, and I can talk about some political consulting work that I've done in the past, but the beauty of political consulting and the beauty of social media, unlike polls, we have to go and dig and ask and ask and ask.
Hmm.
But with social media, it's self-identified.
Yes.
So when you go on, you say, "I'm single, white female, single black female, married black female, or married male, whatever it may be." You identify who you are immediately, and you begin to say what you like and don't like. So immediately you become placed into an AI, artificial intelligence, into an algorithm that will tell you exactly what you want to hear,
Right.
and put you in an environment where you're with people who think like you
Hmm.
and believe in the same things that you do. Do you think those algorithms are effective, or what problems do you see that may exist with them?
I think they are
In terms
effective.
of AI, yes.
I think they are effective to a certain point. Of course, like you said, it allows somebody to be within a room where they're with people who are like minded, who are similar. But it also defects, like it has defects, I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Because it takes away from the sense of community. The one thing about America that is being threatened right now is the fact that it's people from all over the world, all over different backgrounds. That's what makes America America. That unity is what gives people different perspectives on topics. That unity is what matters. That gives individuals different solutions to problems because those perspectives contribute to your thought process, to your critical analysis of a situation. And while yes, it's great being in a room with 2,500 25-year-old black women, we love that. Yes, black women are great, but you also need to be in rooms where there are people who are not like you because that's what matters. That's how you get different perspectives and different ideas to contribute to something bigger.
Yeah, 100%. And it's also how you learn what they may be thinking,
Right.
and some of the things that they may be thinking may be advantageous for you, or maybe a happy medium that you can come to.
Hmm.
And that's the beauty and nature of what we have here. Before we exit, we have a few minutes, 3 minutes or so left. I want you to talk about. We're going to talk about this later in some other platforms, but finding some strategies to, and because I think strategies are important, and I want you to talk about the nature of strategies, developing strategies to get individuals to the polls, to get young people to the voting booths, and not only to get them there, but strategies that will have sustainability, that will allow them to go there and stay there.
Right.
Yes.
Like we talked about, social media is definitely a big thing. You can use social media in a multitude of ways that will get the job done. Um, we talked about Dillard University holding their March to the Polls. That was very effective. And after you do an event like that and it has a great turnout, then you start having the second annual, the third annual, and you start building on to that and start grandfathering that into essentially being a tradition that creates the stability that you're talking about. Also, just holding different events to make sure that young adults are aware of what's going on within the world, and making it relatable to them, and that's all you need.
Oh, you said relatable.
Right. That's
How do
an
I make it relatable? Because you see, I'm thinking I'm relatable, and then you discover that you're not relatable. What makes one relatable? Is it
um
the attire? Is it the dress? Is it the terminology,
it
the
can be different
vocabulary?
things.
Well, is it just plain that the issue? But what that's a broad term, but
Yes.
is
Relatability, I feel like,
yes.
definitely stems from, first off, being authentic. You cannot fake being relatable. So if you have a topic that is popular amongst the group you're trying to relate to, that's great. Of course, you can do research on that group to find out what they like and what they dislike to increase your ability to be relatable. But at the end of the day, an audience can feel if you're trying too hard to be relatable. If you do that, then you're just going to push them in the opposite direction of what you need. So I think being authentic is definitely the top priority in that sense, but also being able to do research and understanding what the audience likes and dislikes is also very important.
The top issue amongst your people that you see.
It's a lot.
Oh yeah,
It's too many.
the top political issues. If you could extract three issues or some top political issues that your people see, because you see what I think is important could be 100% different than what the youth think should be important. And like for instance, um, there's a big push now for this president is saying that he wants to have a cap on credit cards, 10% or so cap on credit cards for a year. And now again, that sounds like for holders of credit cards, that sounds good to some extent. Uh, what do you see are some of the particular issues before we exit for young people right now? You walking out the door and someone says, "Look, this is what the young people are interested in. This is what they want to hear." Yes,
Human rights,
human
making
rights.
sure that I
Okay,
have rights and you know I have rights and they cannot be taken away.
okay. Oh, I like that. Human rights, and that goes to what you talked about at the top of the show of the program: healthcare, abortion. That's so very important. And again, you're going to come back and join us. I know before the semester ends.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, as the year moves forward. And again, this Cadence Busby, and political science major at Dillard University here in the city of New Orleans. And again, this is Dr. Clark's Living Classroom. You can follow me on all platforms of social media, and it's always been a pleasure.